Just another incident. 7 cops down, 4 permanently. A few more hours and we might have had help. Too bad the gangs got us first. Nearly 2 weeks now since we'd wasted Nanosoft's cruiser. The corporate war was finally over, but it had ripped the colony wide open, and the problems just kept on piling up. Sure, we'd beaten the corporations, but we'd taken a pounding in the process. Small pockets of Nanosoft resistance had gone underground, occasionally popping up for some payback. But the big problem, the one getting bigger by the day, was the crime syndicates. These suckers had picked up some serious firepower during the war. Now they were taking advantage of the situation. Big time. What was left of the government police was just too strung out to cope. Recruitment wasn't doing too well either. No real surprise there. Peace doesn't come easy on Callisto, and a G police officer rarely lives to draw a pension. Fortunately for us, Commander Speak's request for assistance had finally been answered. The cavalry had shown up in the shape of a small Marine strike force. 3 ships were deployed in low orbit around Callisto. A special prosecutor, a guy named Marmont, was with the strike force to investigate the whole twisted business. He'd already been in communication with Speak, demanding a full report, and it didn't look like they'd exactly hit it off. The commander had been pretty tight-lipped afterwards. Seemed like we weren't going to be showered with medals after all. Even an official thank you and some R&R would have been nice. Marmont was a real charmer. Hadn't even bothered to tell us what to expect. All we knew for sure was that Marine advanced units would be hitting Dirtside soon. Speak figured the main landing force would probably spend some time fortifying the LZ before pushing forward to link up with us. Way too late for the people we just lost. But better late than never. What's left of the United Earth Marine Corps suffers from the same bureaucratic wrangling and cutbacks as the G Police. So the units they sent probably wouldn't be much better off than we were. With luck, they'd still be strong enough to swing the balance and help us clean up Callisto for good. The UEMC relief force had been thrown together in a hurry, with units from Earth, Mars, and Lunar divisions. It wasn't easy, but the Leathernecks had finally been integrated with our Tactical Operations Center. These guys were one serious asset in a firefight. The gangs had never faced armored infantry before, and they didn't like it. We were slowly gaining the upper hand. The Marine Strike Force was commanded by Colonel Grice. Now there was a name I hadn't heard in a long time. Grice had made a big name for himself during the war, and now commanded the 1st Mars Division. He even managed to hang on to some of his old units after the collapse back in '88, when most of the armed forces were dismantled. Yeah, Grice was one tough old sucker. And smart. Definitely someone you'd want on your side. Explanations for the ambush were finally filtering through. According to Reese, Grice had been in touch with Speak through a high-security scrambler, demanding total control of the colony for himself, with or without our cooperation. When Speak made it clear we weren't going to play ball, Grice lost it. Turns out Callisto's just part of the story. Grice was aiming at a military coup, with his sights set firmly on Earth. Looked like we'd got a genuine renegade colonel in our hands, and we were a long way from any help. The Marines already owned a colony transmitter and the planetary defense systems. With no way of contacting Earth for help, Speak had decided to slug it out. Yeah, us against the Marines? No way were we gonna hold those guys for long. The major commanding the Lunar Marine contingent, a guy named Kincaid, had instigated secret negotiations with Speak. Seemed that Grice had convinced his troops that the G police were under Nanosoft's control and had to be destroyed at all costs. Kincaid didn't buy that. He'd seen the Ravens, Grice's elite shock troops, set us up for those friendly fire ambushes. When he'd found out about Grice's secret space weapon platform stockpiled on Mars, Kincaid knew something big was going down. Maybe we'd found a friend at the 11th hour. Kincaid brought his troops over to our side. The plan was to move quickly and attack Grice's men before they realized what was going on. Kincaid was leading a heat insertion team to attack and hold the planetary defense systems. Our job was to come up fast and give Kincaid's team air support as quickly as possible, while the rest of our combined forces attacked Grice's troops on two fronts. They'd been hit hard and didn't like it one bit. Kincaid contacted some of his former comrades and managed to generate enough uncertainty to get us a temporary ceasefire with the Earth Division's forces. Grice's Marines were tougher, though. Even that change of events hadn't fazed them as badly as we'd hoped. They'd held Kincaid's team up long enough to blow the planetary defense systems and then withdrawn with most of their air defenses to reinforce the colony transmitter dome. We were gonna have to do something about those SAM sites if we were ever going to regain control of the transmitter. Gee, these guys were good. They'd made a fighting withdrawal back to their dropships, and Grice had left a few squads to cover his back. By the time we'd cleaned up his rear guard, he'd managed to slip away with his remaining troops. Our planetary defense system was out of action permanently, so his assault ships could grease us from orbit. With the colony transmitter wasted, we couldn't even warn Earth. Somehow, we were going to have to go after Grice ourselves. Speak and Kincaid had come up with a plan, and it was a real nightmare. Kincaid would take an assault team in one of the captured dropships and try to pass as some of Grice's troops escaping off-planet. If we moved quickly, the security codes would still be the same, and Kincaid's team would get to the landing bay of the carrier, the Barossa. Once on board, the assault team would nail as many defense systems as possible and hold out until the rest of us arrived with guns blazing. Seemed like a suicide mission to me, But since nobody had a better plan, we had to go for it. It looked like we'd done it. The Talavera was out of action, and our assault teams were preparing to board her to pick up survivors. There wouldn't be any resistance now. Any fool that didn't surrender would be sucking vacuum in a couple of hours. We were low on fuel and finishing our last sweep of the outer quadrant, checking for downed fighter crews when...
Blue Leader, this is Barossa. We're picking up a faint blip at the edge of the asteroid belt. Sector 759er. Any of your wing in that area, Daniels?
That's a negative, Barossa.
Request you check it out, Blue Leader. It may be one of our fighters drifting.
We'll comply, Barossa. Blue section. Adjust heading to finish sweep at sector 759er. Slater, you got anything for me?
Clean, clear, and naked, Blue Leader.
Blue Leader, this is Blue 5. Unable to comply. Fuel is low.
Copy that, Blue 5. Return to home plate.
Copy that, Blue Leader. Good luck.
Blue Leader, this is Blue 2. I've got a fix on that blip, but it's more than one craft, and they're definitely not drifting.
Copy that, Blue 2. Barossa, this is Blue Leader. We have contact with an unknown number of fast movers, potentially hostile. Heading, 35, 72, 66. We are low on fuel and weapons. Please advise.
Blue Leader, this is Barossa. Your contacts are definitely hostile. Repeat, hostile. We also have confirmation from survivors of the Talavera that Grice is probably with them. Request you delay hostiles and prevent them from rendezvousing with the Excelsior. Backup will be with you in approximately 12 minutes. We are transmitting an intercept vector now. Please comply.
Vector copied and ready to punch, Barossa. We're on our way.
Backup is now en route. ETA 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Give it all you've got and bring all your ships back home, Daniels. Good luck. Barossa out.
Thanks, Reese. Blue Flight, this is Blue Leader. Assume attack formation. Weapons free. Punching intercept coordinates on my mark. 7-second burn. 3, 2, 1. Mark!
Bandits! The 5 Corsairs and Ron dropship. They're coming round for an attack run.
Guns! Box 1! Slater, check your 6!
Got him, Blue Leader. Break it left and load.
Now!
I'm on him, Slater. Break right on my mark. Keep it coming. Keep it. Mark! Yes! Got it!
Nice shooting, Krasik. That was...
I got a spike! It's the Excelsior! She's coming up fast! Missiles inbound! Frank! Daniel! Frank! Daniel's behind you! Check your 6! I'm coming round!
Engaging cruiser. Box 2.
Negative, Krasik. Disengage! We haven't got enough firepower to dance with that. Get to the dropship.
Confirm dropship. Copy that, Blue Leader.
This sucker, I can't shake him. Slater, hurry up!
Nearly on him. Hang in there, man.
Blue Leader to base. We have multiple bandits. They're all over us. Where's that backup? We are unable to comply with last command. I'm hit! I can't hold her. Mayday! I'm going in. Daniel!
Slater, on your tail. Look out!
Krasik and I managed to stay alive long enough for the backup to arrive. But by that time, it was too late. Grice had managed to dock with the Excelsior and get clean away into the asteroid belt. Luckily, we'd picked up Daniels just in time. He was back on the Barossa, thawing out. Grice has to be headed for Mars. There's nowhere else for him to go. He's still capable of launching a nuclear strike at Earth, so we were gonna have to go after him. There's no hope of repairing the colony transmitter in time. Looks like it's up to us.